So news just broke. The Yankees are going to call up Jasson Dominguez to the MLB, but the problem is the Yankees still suck. So, bro, I know you're a Yankee fan. I used to be a Yankee fan, but more importantly, you're a Jasson Dominguez fan. I know that. 2020 holds dear in our hearts. We got that's when we got into the baseball cards and stuff like that, ripping the first Bowman, chasing Dominguez. But now it's the day. Now, I mean, well, tomorrow technically, September 1st is the day that the Yankees said they're going to call him up. How you feel about that?
I'm excited. This is like the greatest day since Festivus in the Seinfeld show. This is a tremendous holiday for Yankee fans because they are actually going to try to see what they have for the future. That is what I've been asking for all season long. When you look at the standings, they're 18 games back in the division. So the thing with the Yankees right now is they're just old. Like, they're just old, and they're tied up with a lot of big time contracts. Garrett Cole's paying off, but you see contracts like Stanton that they have to deal with, and he's not really the Stanton we used to know and love. So quite frankly, you got to see what you have in the young guys, and who better to see, right, than this guy right here. This is, for those of you that don't know, this is his first Bowman autograph. Breaker Bros semi-rigid card grader, so you can look at these on Amazon. But yeah, have this is in the collection right now. Beautiful card with the shine, right? We love the shine on our cards.
Yeah, shiny sexy, you know the rules.
That's right. So I had this for a while now, and I've been looking at Jasson Dominguez since he's been in the minor leagues quite a bit. I actually saw him in a few single A games when he was down here in the area playing for a single A team. And at the time, he was a little, raw and rough around the edges, but they've pushed him really aggressively to the point where now he's in AAA and he's, I guess, hitting really well. And they want to just bring him up. They want to see what the kid has at about 20 years old. So no doubt, he'll probably take a few lumps, but I don't think they would rush him to the show if they didn't think he could elevate his game to at least see what he has and build that confidence going into next year.
I think I read, I may be wrong, but I don't think I'm pretty sure I'm right, that in AAA he was hitting 444 or something like that. So he got called up from AA to AAA, and I guess they just wanted to see what he had, and I think he's definitely, like you say, he's gonna have. Everyone has their growing pains. Even Mike Trout did bad when he got called up back then, but everyone, especially the card, I would say Yankee fans, but a big portion of the card community, because again, like I said, 2020 was when Dominguez was the hot guy in Bowman, and everyone wanted that first Bowman, like the one you just showed. We're going to see if he's the real deal. And again, it might not show this year, and again, next year, maybe he does start in the MLB, or maybe, whatever. He could start in the minors next year. You never know. But everyone just wants to see that first at bat. It's going to be pretty exciting. And I'm not a Yankee fan. I'm a Rays fan, but I'm excited to see what he could do too.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting whenever you have a lot of young guys that come up. Think Ellie De La Cruz, right? You have Gunnar Henderson, who really turned it on like in the second half of the year. It's just exciting for baseball to see the new next generation of players. Not to say, Jasson Dominguez is going to be, the next Acuna, but the hype is definitely at that level. But for him to come up at 20 years old, there's a chance. There's a chance that he could grow into that type of player. And being on the big stage in New York, there's going to be tons and tons of pressure, but the talent is there. And obviously they've tried to develop him to the point where he could make an impact. I think the best thing for the Yankees right now is, because it's pretty much a lost season, right? You just got to see what you have in the future, because a lot of these bloated contracts that they have are not getting us to the promised land as a Yankee fan here. And you got to see what the young kids have. And sometimes that injection of energy from a young player who's really hungry, whether it's Dominguez or my other guy, Everson Pereira, who got called up a few weeks ago. It's nice to see some young blood in the mix and see what these guys can bring to the table. And sometimes what you see in other teams or in the teams from the past, right? Those young guys sometimes inject new life into the veterans. It's just like it gives them a little bit of extra juice because they have these tremendous contracts. It's kind of like, they kind of just go through the motions. But when you have guys that are hungry on that team, it's nice to know, hey, this is part of the future and we could, have hope for a better year next year. So that's what I'm looking forward to with Dominguez. It's going to be really curious to see, can he live up to the hype? Because if you remember when he first got signed by the Yankees, there were some big names that were thrown out there. I heard Bo Jackson comparisons, and I heard Mickey Mantle comparisons. And man, that's just totally unfair to those guys. Those are some legends. But it's also unfair to the kid, right? Like, man, like you're putting him in the same sentence as some of these icons.
He had the nickname the Martian because they say that he could do everything. He's a 5-tool player. Now I'm excited to see what he could do September 1st when they call him up, and I'm assuming he'll start. We'll see. Center field or right field? Do you know?
Yeah, my guess is that it's going to be center field, and then Pereira will be the left fielder to get those guys a lot of playing time. The interesting thing is, since I watched a lot of the minor leagues and what they were doing, those two guys especially, they were moving them all around all three outfield positions.
Yeah.
So in the future, right, like this is way out there, but there's been rumors about Aaron Judge potentially playing first base because he's so tall, right? He's 6'7", and at some point he has a 10-year, not another 9 years left on his contract. You got to protect him. You know he's going to be able to still hit the ball over the fence for a long time, but playing outfield, right? He already got injured once this year with his toe. So it's like, is there a plan where Judge becomes kind of your everyday first baseman a couple of years out, and then these young guys, if they pan out, Dominguez, Pereira, for example, maybe someone else in the future, is like those are your outfield guys that can play basically any position out there. So I like the fact that this is kind of the movement for the Yankees, but it's interesting to see how it plays out because they have to perform now, right? Now they're getting their time to shine. But if they do, brilliant move by Cashman not trading them, right? Because we talked a little bit about the Ohtani thing, and it was like, get rid of Dominguez and get rid of all the prospects and just bring Ohtani in here for 2 months. But clearly, I think Cashman's like, hey, we need to hold on to some of these guys because we have big contracts and we need some little contracts to be able to play out. That's the only way it's going to work.
Yeah, and keep the fans excited. That's that's kind of what it's all about in the end.
Be interesting to see. Let's see how it plays out. Congrats to Dominguez if he gets that, once he gets the call tomorrow, and we'll keep track on how he performs and how the team sort of looks around these young guys.